Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about computer parts. Let's do this! So let's say you are someone who loves gaming and really wants to get off that really dumb, quote-unquote gaming laptop, or just a small, low-powered rig that you don't want to use anymore. This video is going to be focusing on, like that teenager's been saving up his savings all year from either his part-time job or even his allowance or something like that for a good gaming rig, really. And this rig is actually just under $1,000. Now you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, $1,000, it's so much money. Well, when it comes to, quality parts, you're gonna need about that much in order to get, something good. So I'm gonna go down the list here and explain kind of why I chose these parts, and really, it's actually not that expensive. Alright, so let's talk CPU. Now, I am more of the enthusiast grade type guy, so I don't highly recommend the Skylake chipset, but right now, this chip, for what it is, it's really good. It's a little over 200 bucks. It's a true quad core. It turbos pretty much to 4 gigahertz in some applications, so even out of the box, you don't really have to do a lot of overclocking. And since it is a K series processor, it will overclock, and you can actually type it out through some pretty ridiculous numbers. If you want to know how much or how to actually, overclock it that much, I personally don't really know how to do that, especially on this chip. I have not really been into the overclocking world, so I'm going to leave that to more capable hands. Alright, cooler side, I could have gone with an air cooler, and that would have been totally sufficient. These Skylake chips don't really put out a lot of heat, so really a cooler would be beneficial. And actually, I think most of these Skylake ones come with a cooler that will be just fine. So if you want to shave off like 50-ish bucks or something like that, 60-ish dollars, then scrap this cooler if you need to do that. But if you want to have some wiggle room, especially if you want to do overclock, because that does put out a lot more heat and uses up a lot more wattage, which I'll get into later, then you're probably going to want a third-party cooler. Now you could go with an air cooler, but I chose the Corsair H60, which is an AIO liquid cooler, which stands for all-in-one, and it's okay. It's a single rad that's 120 millimeters, fits in most cases that actually have a 120 millimeter socket, so you're going to be fine. Now for the motherboard, I actually just like ASUS's stuff, so I chose the Z170, which is the chipset A series. Now this is kind of their mid to high-end type stuff, and it's a good board. Actually, my father has the X99 Deluxe version of this board, and it's a gorgeous board. It looks really nice. I mean, look at that. It's pretty. And it's super stable. It's got all the bells and whistles, especially the Z170 stuff. It's got USB Type-C, which for gaming purposes, especially for budget, I don't know why you would need that unless you actually have a USB Type-C device. It's got gigabit Ethernet. It's got video ports galore for onboard graphics if you can't afford a video card, but if you're gonna game, you really need a video card. Okay. It's also got full audio, full 7.1 audio. Actually, no, that's 5.1. My bad. And SPDIF out or optical out. So if you're actually using it in a theater type system that actually has a box for audio. You know what I mean. Now I could have gone with a more or less expensive board that would totally do the job, from Gigabyte or from MSI, but ASUS just makes good boards. Okay, now RAM. Now for some reason, there's no picture. Don't know why, but anyways, I'll put a picture up in here so you know at least what this type of RAM looks like. It comes in one stick, so it's single channel, which is okay. It's 2400 megahertz, so it's plenty fast, and it's 8 gigs, which for gaming, that is the sweet spot for gaming, because most games don't use more than about 6. And when it comes to choosing RAM, especially if you don't really know how to choose RAM, look up your CPU and look how many cores it has. Now, the delta is about 2 gigs per core, because it uses about 1.5 gigs per core that you have in your CPU, so having 2 gigs, you have some wiggle room. So, quad-core CPU, 3 times 4, 8 gigs of RAM. Boom. You just figured out how to make RAM, figure out how to buy RAM. And really, you can get even a more or less expensive thing in here, so you could get away, but this RAM's 30 bucks, man. It's 30 bucks. It's amazing. Please, just get RAM. Now for storage, actually I would recommend an SSD in this rig, even for a budget rig, because it just makes the whole system snappier, and it's just good. But for budget purposes, a traditional hard drive will do you just fine. This one's a Western Digital Blue, so it's 1,000 gigs or a terabyte, and it's 7,200 RPM. So it's fast, it's large, it'll get the job done. And you can throw in more on this board. This board supports, I think, 10 drives. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. But you can add more drives if you need to, or get a different drive if you want, and it wouldn't harm this build. Okay, now video cards. Ooh, this one's actually, even in a budget build, it's really hard to choose video cards. Now I went safe because I know this card will do well. I mean, if you don't believe me, you can look up some benchmarks of this card, and even look up your particular game or whatever you want to do, and look up this card. But for me it to be about an $150 kind-ish range, this thing fights well above its weight class. I mean, you can actually play Fallout 4 at medium-ish settings at 60 FPS at 1080p on this card, and it's less than $150. That's where today has been. It's amazing. And actually, still under $1,000, you can SLI this baby. Now, I don't know why you would want to SLI a 950, because then you're looking more towards about 300-ish bucks, which you could buy a 970 for that. And if you could buy more powerful single card, do that. But if you want to just say, hey, I have an SLI rig, then do that. And you can even put in like a 960 and you're going to be fine. Alright, cases, it's really your preference. I just chose like a random $40 case. This one's the Spec 01 from Corsair's, part of their Card Buy series. And it's a small ATX mid-tower case. You can hold, say, ATX board, and it'll do just fine. And it comes with a little red LED fan in it already, so that's pretty cool. But also, it's got expansion base galore. You can actually have, how many drives can you put in here? You can actually have up to 6 drives in here if you needed to. So at the most, you can have 6 drives, because I know the motherboard supports more. And you can even put another type of size motherboard in here if you needed to. Now, I wouldn't recommend that, because why? If it supports a large board or a standard ATX board, get an ATX board, because then you have more slots for growing room and stuff like that. Now, power supply, actually, this can get a little tricky. I chose 600 watts because it gives you some growing room. Now, you could, for this rig, get away with 430 watts. And for 30 bucks, you can say, you know what, that's it, but that's it. You can't put in another graphics card, or you can't really put in another graphics card down the road if you wanted to, because it's going to use more power than a 950. And you're going to be like, oh no, I'm running out of juice, and well, that sucks. This just allows some wiggle room if you want to add more parts later down the road. It's kind of future-proofing your rig. And also, no rig is complete without a copy of Windows. And if you already have a copy of Windows that you can just use, you can shave about 100 bucks, and you need this. So if you just starting from scratch, you want to buy a complete solid rig that has everything, you're gonna need a copy of Windows. And there's, oh wow, it's actually less than 90 bucks right now. So it's still about 100 bucks, but yeah, if you need to do this, buy a thing of Windows. But if not, hey, there you go. And that's what I have for you. So I hope this was informative. I hope this was something that actually made you think about making your own parts list and actually saving up to buy for the summer. Because actually, I'm gonna buy some stuff this summer. I'm pretty excited about it. This is my May build. I'm gonna give a little sneak peek. But anyways, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions about like why I chose these parts more in depth, or if you want to say, hey, will this work, or you just have questions in general, let me know in the comment section. If you want more of this content so you can be more informed about the computer parts of the world, then hit subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.